Welcome to the channel of World of Wonder Stories, where we bring you the best short stories, fables, mythology, and many more. Our channel will make you think, will move you, and will expand your knowledge with new words. So stay tuned to the end to find out what happens at the end. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. Once upon a time there was a stone quarry. Day and night the sound of the hammer echoed here, and the dust filled the air like fog. In the shadow of these grey cliffs lived a girl whose father worked in the quarry, breaking rocks from sunrise to sunset. His face was always covered in dust, his hands were always bleeding, and his eyes were tired. Every night when he returned home, his cough shook their small hut, and his wife would soothe him with loving words. "Don't worry, my love. Tomorrow we will pray to the gods to send us another spring without drought, so that the fields flourish and the crops bear fruit." His daughter Asha, who was only 7 years old then, would look at him helplessly while he slept. She couldn't understand why the god had given them such a cruel fate. Why must her father break stones all his life? Why did he have to work even when his body was aching? Why didn't the god give them a better life? At night, when she lay between her parents, listening to her father's cough, she vowed to herself that she would save her father from the quarry. Asha grew up and she turned into a beautiful young woman. She loved her father with all her heart, and she saw how the stone quarry was crushing him little by little. Her father worked like a slave there because he owed the overseer money. If he couldn't pay off the debt, he would have to work in the quarry for the rest of his life. No matter how many stones he broke, the overseer claimed it was never enough. He was a greedy man, and he kept raising the amount her father had to pay. Asha watched, helpless, as the stone crushed not just her father's body, but his spirit. It seemed to her that the sun rose and set in the quarry, but as the days went by, the debt became heavier. Her father's back bent, his lungs weakened. When Asha turned 14, the overseer wanted more. "If you want your father to keep working here, you will have to work too," he said. "You are strong enough now to swing a hammer." On that day, Asha's whole world collapsed. She didn't know anything about the outside world. All she knew was the quarry. She couldn't imagine how she was supposed to go out into the world. But she loved her father too much to say no. With tears in her eyes, she took the hammer in her hand. She swung it, the dust stinging her throat. Each breath burned and blood sometimes stained her lips. Still, she worked. Her childhood was stolen by the same stones that enslaved her father. When the other workers saw her, some shook their heads, others pointed and whispered. The villagers pitied her but could not help. Such is the fate of quarry families, they whispered. Asha didn't care about the whispers. She only cared for her father. She thought about him constantly. She wanted to save him from the quarry. But how? She worked year after year, and the stone hardened in her bones. Sometimes she looked at the mountains around her and dreamed of smashing them. She thought about running away. But where could she go? She knew nothing else but the quarry. She dreamed of going to the sea, but she had never seen it. She heard the birds singing in the sky, but she had never flown. Days bled into nights. The dust coated her skin like a second layer, her cough rattling louder than her father's. She hated the stone. Every shard that cut her, every boulder she struck felt like an enemy. "Why must we live and die in chains?" she asked the night sky, but no answer came. Then one evening, after a particularly brutal day, Asha sat by the discarded heaps of broken stone, worthless pieces the overseer tossed aside. Her hands trembled with rage. She picked up her hammer and smashed a jagged rock into dust. Then she paused. She looked at the fragments at her feet and noticed something strange. The rock looked like a bird taking flight. Not only that, the harder she had hit the stone, the more the bird had started to resemble its real form. For the first time since she started working in the quarry, Asha didn't break a rock. Instead, she carved. Slowly, carefully, she chipped away at the stone. She worked late into the night by the light of a flickering oil lamp. She didn't know what to do with the useless scraps of stone, so she threw them into a corner. Soon a pile of stones grew there, and as the days went by, the pile grew steadily taller. Each night she carved a little more, not to destroy, but to reveal. The stone dust fell differently that night, not like chains, but like sparks of freedom. When she finished, a bird with outstretched wings rested in her hands. Holding the bird, she looked out into the darkness, her eyes shining with newfound hope. From that day on, Asha worked in secret. Every night, after the overseer left, she gathered the discarded stones and carved. Birds, faces, flowers, gods, whatever her heart longed for, her hands brought forth. Then one morning, travelers passed through the quarry. They stopped, stunned by her sculptures. Who made these? They demanded. Asha, who had been hiding behind a boulder, stepped forward. The travelers dropped silver in her hands, more than her family had ever seen. Word spread. Soon, merchants came to the quarry not for stone, but for her art. Each morning the overseer searched for her, but she hid from him, afraid he would stop her from carving. Each time he passed by, her sculptures grew more detailed, more beautiful. When the merchants offered her a bag of gold for one of her sculptures, she laughed for the first time in years. Asha no longer feared the overseer. With each piece sold, the debt chains weakened, until one day her father laid down his hammer forever. And the quarry still roared, but Asha no longer belonged to it. She carved in the light, her sculptures carried to distant lands. Where once she had coughed blood, now she breathed hope. Where once she saw only prisons of rock, now she saw wings hidden in every stone. And the villagers whispered a new truth. Even from the hardest stone, beauty can be carved. Did you enjoy this video? Tell us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and share. Stay tuned to the end to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Subscribe to our channel so you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe and make sure to wash your hands.